Let's see this. Let's see where this goes.
If you've watched Avatar The Last Airbender, you know that the show ended on an incredible high note. Aang defeated Ozai, Zuko became Fire Lord, Aang and Katara ended up together, and the gang celebrated at Iroh's tea shop. But what happened next? Welcome to Movie Flame, I'm Morgan Ross, and today I'm going through every major character and breaking down what their life looked like after the war. And there is a lot to cover because the original creators of the show have spent the last 20 years writing comics that take the story farther than the show ever did. If you enjoy this video, please consider liking and sharing. It will greatly help to grow and sustain the channel. And if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button, and you can also follow me on all of my other social media pages, all of which are linked down below, and all of which house similar content that I make here on this channel. Now, let's get into it. Aang. After the 100-Year War, Aang threw himself into what became known as the Harmony Restoration Movement. This was a campaign to
You did what now? Give me a second. Do what? Wait.
get into it. Aang. After the 100-Year War, Aang threw himself into what became known as the Harmony Restoration Movement. This was a campaign to remove the Fire Nation's presence in the Earth Kingdom by transferring the Fire Nation colonials back to the Fire Nation. However, about a year later, Zuko unexpectedly pulled his support from this movement, and when war seemed inevitable, Aang had to make a tough choice.
Wait.
Aang. After the 100-Year War, Aang threw himself into what became known as the Harmony Restoration Movement. This was a campaign to remove the Fire Nation's presence in the Earth Kingdom
Oh.
by transferring the Fire Nation colonials back to the Fire Nation. However, about a year later, Zuko unexpectedly pulled his support from this movement, and when war seemed inevitable, Aang had to make a tough choice. He concluded that the oldest colonies where Fire Nation and Earth Kingdom people had lived together for generations could no longer be forcibly separated. He stopped the battle and helped broker a peace deal that allowed the colonies to remain as self-governing communities separate from both the Fire Nation and the Earth Kingdom. After the colony crisis was resolved, Aang joined Zuko as he went on a mission to find his long-lost mother, Ursa. Aang played a key role in convincing the spirit the mother of Faces to restore Ursa's memories, reuniting Zuko with his mother. Later, Aang began receiving
Wait, she lost her memories? Yeah. Ow.
visions of Avatar Yang Chen, the last air nomad avatar before him, receiving visions or Ursa's memories, reuniting Zuko with his mother. Later, Aang began receiving visions of Avatar Yang Chen, the last air nomad avatar before him, which led him to revive an ancient festival in her honor. But he was horror-struck when the festival's sacred grounds had been built over by an industrial refinery. He butts heads with Toph and others who thought industrial progress was a good thing. And his time there got worse because he had to fight a spirit to protect his friends, which deeply hurt him to have to do. Aang had also severed his connection with Avatar Roku, but following his visions with Yang Chen, he mended their relationship. Back in the Fire Nation, Aang helped Zuko deal with a bunch of kidnappings, seemingly carried out by ancient dark spirits called the Kamurakage. After consulting one of the real spirits though, Aang deduced that the kidnappers were human imposters, and they eventually uncovered that it was Azula behind this whole scheme, and
Thought she was locked up. What the fuck? Thank you for the follow. So it
Aang helped resolve this. Around that same time, Aang headed to the South Pole to meet Sokka and Katara along with their father Hakoda. While there, he helped all of them fight off a group of rebels who didn't like what Hakoda was doing. Shortly afterwards, Toph brought Aang to Cranefish Town on her father's orders. Lao Beifong asked Aang to help resolve tensions between benders and non-benders, which was getting very out of hand. They traced several attacks to a councilwoman named Liling, who was organizing a bender supremacist movement. Aang, with the help of Team Avatar, captured her, and Toph urged Aang to remove Liling's bending like he did to Ozai. When it came time to do so though, he ultimately decided against it.
Did what now?
Like he did to Ozai, captured her, and using a hand. They traced several attacks to a councilwoman named Liling, who was organizing a bender supremacist movement. Aang, with the help of Team Avatar, captured her, and Toph urged Aang to remove Liling's bending like he did to Ozai. When it came time to do so though, he ultimately decided against it. After Liling's final arrest, Aang and Katara felt a powerful connection to Cranefish Town, and they decided to stay, wanting to help it grow into something better. In his later years, Aang worked alongside Zuko to
Hello, mate.
transform Cranefish Town into the United Republic of Nations, or Republic City. He married Katara and into the In his later years, Aang worked alongside Zuko to transform Cranefish Town into the United Republic of Nations, or Republic City. He married Katara and had 3 children, Bumi, Kaya, and Tenzin. He added his own island right off of the city where he and his family could live, which became known as Air Temple Island. Because Tenzin was the only airbender of his kids, and because Aang wanted to preserve the air nomad culture, he favored Tenzin at times, which created some distance with his older kids. Aang helped arrest a powerful bloodbender named Yakone, and he used the Avatar state to permanently remove Yakone's bending. This was the 3rd time that Aang had to make a choice like this, and this time around, he did it. Aang spent the rest of his life nurturing Republic.
It was crazy. I hope anyone watching, but watching Korra, it reignited what it felt like to be a middle child. However, I will say though, in my personal opinion, the Tenzin favoritism in my head makes sense. Whilst obviously you're gonna obviously having kids, you want to make sure that your children are as equal. But I feel like every parent has a favorite child. Like there's no circumstance in my head that makes sense where it's like, okay, this child is the example the to talk to and work around, whereas the rest of them are like can't really talk to them about certain things. For example, me, the position I'm at, like my position as where I'm at with my siblings, my mom usually goes to me for a lot of things, where technical, general. After the things I have to open up about and bring those conversations to her, but otherwise, me that gets the conversation brought about and have those. So for me, I feel like knowing that, and maybe favorite child is probably the a weird way to think about it, but in my head, it kind of makes sense. Like to have a favorite child is crazy, and I'm like, it is crazy. I can't lie, but I feel like every parent has a child they favor a lot more. I think, in my opinion.
Had drained his life force. This led to him dying at the relatively young biological age of 66, and he was reincarnated as Korra, the next Avatar. Katara. After the war, Katara was involved in the Harmony Restoration movement alongside Aang and the rest of Team Avatar. When the situation in Yu Dao became tense, it was Katara who helped calm Aang down when he entered the Avatar state during his confrontation with Zuko. She was also the one who framed the whole conflict in personal terms, looking at the mixed Fire Nation and Earth Kingdom families in Yu Dao, and this ultimately prevented a new war from starting. Katara was also present during Zuko's search for his mother, as she supported and helped him along the way. When she returned home in the Southern Water Tribe for the first time since the war, Katara found that her hometown had been transformed by the Southern Reconstruction Project, led by her father Hakoda, the new head chieftain. She was initially skeptical of the foreign involvement with this project, and even admitted to Sokka that she half understood the rebels' concerns. She was later shocked when she found out that her father was in a relationship with one of the leading builders.
Damn. I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty sure her mother died, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, her mother died, so it would make sense that her father moved on.
When the rebel leader Gillick attacked a festival and stabbed her father Hakoda, Katara fought back and later healed her father, ensuring he did not die. Katara eventually accepted her father's new girlfriend, and even helped save Melina from falling into the ravine during the climactic showdown at the Bridge of No Return. Katara was part of restoring peace in Cranefish Town, and when Aang entered the Avatar state to remove Liling's bending, it was Katara who convinced him to stop. Katara eventually married Aang, and as said, they had 3 children. Katara continued to develop her waterbending ability to extraordinary levels, eventually becoming regarded as the best healer in the world, and she passed these skills down to her daughter.
And did. Yeah. Did. Um,
Kaya. After Aang's death, she became the
I ain't gonna hold you.
and as said, they had 3 children. Katara continued to develop her waterbending ability to extraordinary levels, eventually becoming regarded as the best healer in the world, and she passed these skills.
I ain't gonna hold you. People gonna, you can hate me all you want. I low-key had a crush on this girl. I low-key had a crush on this girl. She was one of, in my opinion, one of the hottest characters. Korra. It might just be the white hair, to be fair. I don't know, but I'm just speaking from my personal. Because from what I remember, obviously you had what were the firebending brothers' names? What? I don't think that's questionable. I don't think that's questionable. I don't think that's questionable. What's questionable about that? What's questionable about that? Yeah, I think I think she was hot. I think she was hot. I'm gonna hold you. I'm gonna own it. Like, which one me to lie? No, I thought she was sexy. She was, in my opinion. If we go through a list of like, um, let's see. This would take a lot, to be fair. I can't lie. This would take a lot. I ain't gonna hold you. Exactly. It was T. Like, the fuck. Um. Now, if we're going with a ATLA, then that's a different question. But if with like in Korra specifically, I ain't gonna hold you. She was my top 3, not 3. Obviously, you had her. This is the person I was talking about. I forgot who's girl the name of her boyfriend. You know, but I don't think that's surprising. Considering what you know about me, I don't think that's surprising. I don't think I genuinely don't think that's surprising, to be fair. Because I've always said I appreciate beauty. Beauty comes in all different forms and stuff. yeah, I don't, I think like don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Um, a lot of my dating history has been people my age, but I if I had the option, yeah, I'd 100% go for someone older. I ain't gonna lie. Um, but yeah, I do like my women with a little bit of age. Not too much age, of course. We're not saying 50s, like 60s and shit, but you know, I appreciate an older woman. But that's also because I recognize that I get off stimulation wise having conversations with certain people, and a lot of bigger conversations that I've had have come from older women, or just older people in general. To be fair, because I hang around my uncle a lot, and my uncle's about to be, well, he is 40, so yeah. Because of him, I've had to hang around a lot of people. I'm just explaining. That wasn't over explaining. That was an explanation. But yeah.
Skills down to her daughter Kaya. After Aang's death, she became the waterbending teacher for his reincarnation, Avatar Korra, training the young
You can call that a whole segment. Matter of fact, I might just post down TikTok. Fuck it.
Avatar from childhood in the Southern Water Tribe. She was also the one who convinced Korra's protective parents to let her keep her polar bear dog, Naga, recognizing that every Avatar needed an animal companion. Years later, after Korra had her bending taken away by the villain Amon, Katara tried to heal her. And when Korra eventually suffered severe mercury poisoning from the Red Lotus, Katara spent 2 years helping her recover. Even in her old age, Katara remained one of the most remembered presences in history. Sokka.
Well, that's also because she quite literally was in the anime as well. So I feel like I feel like it made sense because if you had Aang, well, you can't really have Aang in the anime because that's not how reincarnation works. But yeah. Oh, I'm 100% editing, but I'll be on job. As a matter of fact, after our movie, I'll start the applications.
Sokka stayed busy in the aftermath of the war. During the Harmony Restoration movement, he visited Toph's new metal bending academy in Yu Dao, and ended up helping her students find their courage. Sokka joined Aang and Katara as he too helped Zuko find his mother. Back in the South Pole, Sokka reunited with his father Hakoda, and like Katara, he also discovered that their home had been completely transformed because of the Southern Reconstruction
Yeah,
Project.
go ahead,
He
cause
was
I'm
more
about to end
advanced
soon.
than she was. He helped fight off Gillick and his rebels several times, including in the final fight. He was the strategist behind the plan at the Bridge of No Return. Knowing that Gillick's forces could chi block benders, he had everyone wear metal under their winter clothing so they couldn't be chi blocked, helping them win the battle. After the battle, he
Yeah,
and
I ain't gonna
Katara
lie.
visited their mother.
I ain't gonna lie. Sokka was MVP. Okay, like he was comic relief, but he was MVP in my opinion.
Kaya's grave together, paying their respects. In Cranefish Town, Sokka helped Team Avatar deal with a growing conflict between benders and non-benders. He reunited with Suki there, who he was still in a happy relationship with.
I thank God, bro. Now again, ATLA had some. You know what I mean, and I can say this because I was their age at the time anyway. They had some fine ass women. Yeah, they had some fine ass women, bro. Not lie. Yeah, not lie. They had some fine ass women.
When the Bender supremacist Lilling broke free and launched an uprising, Sokka was in the thick of the fight. He ultimately knocked out Lilling's daughter Yelling with his trusty boomerang after she'd managed to stun Toph. He was also one of the voices arguing against removing Lilling's bending, pointing out that she was a civilian and that conflict ran deeper than just one person. In his later years, Sokka rose to become the Southern Water Tribe representative on the United Republic Council, and eventually became its chairman. In that role, he too presided over the trial of the bloodbending crime boss Yakone, and he was actually bloodbent himself during the trial in the courtroom. Sokka later became the
Yeah, that shit pissed me off, bro. I think that was. I'm pretty sure that was the first. That was one of the first few episodes, if I'm not mistaken, bro. That shit aggravated me seeing that shit, bro. And then we find out that that nigga was Amon's younger or older brother. I don't remember. Brother in general. Yeah, they were brothers, and that shit aggravated the hell out of me.
A chieftain of the Southern Water Tribe taking his father's place. Moving forward a bit, he joined Zuko, Tenzin, and Tonraq, defeating a group of dangerous criminals who called themselves the Red Lotus as they attempted to kidnap a young Avatar Korra. A statue of Sokka holding his boomerang was later built in front of the Southern Water Tribe Cultural Center to honor his
Respectfully, respect on this nigga's name, bro. He was MVP.
legacy. Sokka ended up passing much earlier than others part of Team Avatar, though we don't actually know how or why he died. Toph Beifong. After the war, Toph wasted no time in moving on to the next step of her life. She founded a metal bending academy in Yu Dao and took on her first 3 students, Penga, the Dark One, and Ho Tun. The academy was threatened by a firebending dojo who occupied their building, but Toph's students, after having struggled for a while, finally metal bent for the first time, taking down the firebending dojo. After that, enrollment boomed, and her academy grew into a serious institution. Toph joined Team Avatar when they discovered an industrial refinery, which she was shocked to find out was co-owned by her estranged father, Lao Beifong.
Damn, crazy. That is indeed insane.
He refused to acknowledge her though, saying that she was not his daughter. Later, the Iron
I mean, to be fair, I'm like 100% sure she got disowned from the moment she ran away. So that low-key makes sense. To be honest, that does actually check out. That does check out.
mine beneath the refinery began to collapse, where she, Katara, her father, and several others were trapped. Toph held up the collapsing debris for an agonizing amount of time until her students and Aang arrived to help. When she finally emerged, she collapsed in her father's arms, and their relationship was mended. Lao was absolutely shocked at how powerful his daughter really was. She then joined her father at the refinery to help oversee the earth and fire industry's operations. She also continued to travel back to her metal bending academy, which had been run by her first 3 students while she was away. Toph got bored of the place though, and one
That checks out. I remember, yeah, Toph was she was a free spirit, so that does make sense. And
night when she was out, she discovered an underground bending fight club in this abandoned warehouse. There, she discovered lava bending for the first time, which she loved. The lava bender's name was Sun, and he proceeded to burn the warehouse down by accident. Afterward, instead of getting Sun in trouble, Toph invited him to join her academy so she could teach him how to master his element, and this helped her find her passion for teaching again. Toph later traveled to the South Pole as a representative of Earth and Fire Industries to help with the Southern Reconstruction Project. While there, she helped in fighting off Gillick and his resistance. She then joined Team Avatar in Cranefish Town to deal with the growing crisis between the Benders and non-Benders. As said, she was the one who proposed that Aang take away Liling's bending like he did to Ozai. But again, Aang did not do this. After the crisis was resolved, Toph became the founding chief of police in Republic City, establishing the metal bending police force that would act as its law enforcement for generations.
I mean, why was her school never mentioned? I don't remember her mentioning there being any mention of any school. That's crazy.
During this period, she had 2 daughters, Lin and Suyin. She raised both as a single parent and deliberately gave them the freedom that she'd never had growing up. Later in life, Toph led the operation to arrest Yakone, and during his trial, she was blood-bent in the courtroom just like Sokka was, which was one of the few times that anyone had genuinely gotten the better of her. Toph retired from the police force the following year, and her daughter Lin took over for her. Decades later, she left civilization.
That also kind of just reminded me. Gosh, Lin is also a mile. Lin for me top 5. Then Lin is top 5, and hate me if you want. I don't care. Hate me if you want. Lin is top 5.
Following year, and her daughter Lin took over for her. Decades later, she left civilization altogether and went to live in a swamp. It was there that she found a beaten and broken Avatar Korra, who was hiding from the world after her torment from the Red Lotus. Toph helped draw the last traces of mercury poison in her, and gave Korra a new perspective on the villain she had faced. Toph later traveled to the fallen city of Zaofu to rescue Suyen's family from Kuvira's Earth Empire, and during this, she finally talked to Lin about her father for the first time, and because of this, the two mended their relationship. Moving forward, Toph ran for office as a Democratic candidate, but she lost after discovering that the election had been manipulated. She then returned to the swamp, stating that the predators there were more honest than the politicians. Before she did though, she made one last trip to Republic City to spend time with her granddaughter Opal. There, she also met Katara, and they reminisced about the old days.
Aww.
Zuko. After his coronation, Zuko worked to make the Fire Nation government less like a dictatorship, reformed the education system, began prosecuting war criminals, and purged Ozai's loyalists from the government.
I don't think Zuko. Yeah, I don't think Zuko had any children. If I remember correctly. Yeah.
This made him enemies though, leading to 6 assassination attempts on his life in the first year that he was Fire Lord. On top of that, Zuko also supported the Harmony Restoration Movement, which as said was the effort to return Fire Nation colonists to their homeland. Despite all of this, Zuko worried that he might become a tyrant like his ancestors, and he made Aang promise to kill him if he ever ended up like his father. After finally getting back together with Mai at the end of the series.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this fucking bro. Who's the other one? The acrobatic. Hold on. No, I can't be honest. I'll deal with it.
He and Mai broke up shortly after, following Zuko lying to her about visiting his father in prison. Zuko also reversed course with the Harmony Restoration Movement after seeing the many families of mixed nations there. He ordered the Fire Army to defend the colony, and Zuko refused to back down. He had his army ready to fight the Earth King's army, leading to a massive battle. During the battle though, Zuko had a metamorphosis just as he did in Ba Sing Se during the series. And when he passed out, Aang took him to his Uncle Iroh's tea shop, and there, as said, he and Aang agreed that the oldest colonies could be neither Fire Nation nor Earth Kingdom, and had to become something entirely new. Zuko then turned to finding his mother Ursa. When Ozai refused to cooperate, Zuko released Azula from the mental health facility she'd been committed to, and he did this in exchange for information. Despite the skepticism of Team Avatar,
that's how she escaped. That makes sense. It's kind of strange.
the group, along with Azula, traveled to Ursa's hometown, and they went into a mysterious spiritual forest called Forgetful Valley. Through an ancient spirit called the Mother of Faces, Zuko learned that Ursa had been given an entirely new face and identity, and had been living as an ordinary woman with no memory of her past. When her memories were restored, Ursa confirmed that a letter suggesting that Zuko was not Ozai's son, which Azula had been using as leverage, was a deliberate lie planted to fool Ozai. He had an emotional reunion with his mother, and later he took her, his stepfather, and his new little sister named Kiyi back to the Fire Nation palace.
Aww.
He grew to love Kiyi and had a good relationship with her. While back in the capital, Zuko was sad to learn that Mai had found a new boyfriend named Kilo. Then, a wave of child kidnappings began, including Mai's little brother. Zuko investigated this alongside Aang, Mai, and her new boyfriend Kilo. When his own sister Kiyi was kidnapped, Zuko locked down the city and ordered citizens' homes to be searched, and this triggered a riot. Eventually, they discovered that Azula had been behind the kidnappings all along, as she was manipulating events to push Zuko toward ruling with fear, just like their father. He and Azula had a rematch of their fight at the end of the series, which ended in Azula once again disappearing. Though Azula escaped, the children were all rescued. Afterwards, Zuko apologized publicly to his people for his poor conduct and vowed to be a better Fire Lord. Zuko then traveled to the South Pole for an international conference about the Southern Reconstruction Project, where he quickly offered his support. When rebel forces kidnapped the Earth King, Zuko helped with the rescue at the Bridge of No Return, which helped improve relations with the Earth Kingdom after Zuko almost started a war with them not too long ago. Zuko also worked to implement his education reforms at the Royal Fire Academy for Girls, ensuring that the kids were taught the real history of the Fire Nation's villainy. He also successfully convinced Mei to become a teacher there to ensure these changes were held up. Later, when rogue Dai Li agents showed up to assassinate the headmistress, Zuko, Mei, and Tai Li fought them off together. Alongside Aang, Zuko turned the old colonies into the United Republic of Nations, with Republic City as its capital. He and Aang remained lifelong friends, and some even called
Well, it's funny to think about these two friendships. I feel like the way it's written, like if you watch at the back, you can kind of tell that they were kind of always, no matter like how and like how they were gonna go, kind of see, you could tell that like that's where it was gonna go. And I find it really funny. They 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 work together.
them best friends. In his 20s, Zuko found a juvenile dragon who he named Druck, and who became his lifelong companion. Later in life, Zuko married, had a daughter named Izumi, and became
Oh, he did. Wait. Oh, wait.
a grandfather. Zuko also joined Sokka,
He did. I don't remember that. Yeah.
Tenzin, and Tonraq to stop the Red Lotus from kidnapping the young Avatar Korra, and after defeating them, he sent them to specially constructed prisons. He later gave the throne to his daughter Azumi, and moved to Ember Island, continuing on as an official ambassador for world peace. When the Red Lotus criminals once again escaped, Zuko flew north on Druck to sound the alarm, and he fought them off personally. Not long after that, he met an older Avatar Korra. He offered her guidance, the same way Iroh always offered him guidance. And speaking of Iroh, Zuko eventually reunited with his uncle Spirit in the spirit world, seeing him for the first time since his passing. Iroh. After the war, Iroh got exactly what he wanted. A quiet life running the Jasmine Dragon tea shop in Ba Sing Se, playing Pai Sho, and enjoying the company of friends. When Zuko eventually had his metamorphosis during the Yu Dao crisis, as said, Aang brought him to the Jasmine Dragon to recover, and Iroh nursed him back to health. When Zuko left to search for Ursa, Iroh stepped up as the interim Fire Lord, a role he enjoyed more than he expected, and his first official act was to declare a National Tea Appreciation Day, which is hilarious. He later played a crucial role in helping Zuko and
His love for tea makes me think his character was designed to be British. I can't lie. That nigga was in love with. It was specifically, yeah, it was specifically Jasmine tea. But yeah, his love for tea makes me think designed to be British.
his mother Ursa returned safely to the capital, as he disguised himself as his nephew in a decoy caravan. When Ursa returned to the palace, Iroh helped his sister-in-law find her courage again, and also helped her get closure with his brother Ozai. Iroh's later years in Ba Sing Se weren't entirely peaceful. He faced public protests from people who resented his role as the commanding general during the original siege of Ba Sing Se. He was then kidnapped by the bounty hunter June, who had been hired by a former soldier who blamed Iroh for the deaths of his battalion during the siege. When the soldier demanded an apology and then suicide as reparation, Iroh took full responsibility for his past decisions, but refused to die for the sake of honor. June ultimately came back and freed him, having reconsidered her worldview after spending time with Iroh. Afterward, Iroh offered her a new job, which was hunting down rare tea ingredients. Iroh eventually chose to leave his mortal body behind and ascend to the spirit world, where he made new friends among spirits and built himself a new tea shop. While there, he encountered a young Avatar Korra lost in the spirit world, and he guided her through the darkness. He also guided Aang's children, Bumi, Kaya, and Tenzin, when they became lost in the spirit world as well. And as said, Iroh eventually
And I think it's very obvious by now, but Tenzin is one of my favorite characters from just from a character basis. Just from a character basis, I feel like he is definitely one of my favorite characters. But that might just be me. Everyone who I've talked to has either said Korra, Bumi, or Kuvira. Yeah. And I get it. I get it. Kuvira was a weird villain though. Very weird. Oh shit. I'm gonna reserve time. Carry on this video. I've just realized if I continue, yeah, I'm not trying to do it. I need to. I need to fix up my. But yeah. I'm gonna end stream. This video. Hopefully, um, but yeah, I need. I do genuinely stop. I've been doing so. Excuse me.